Hello. Hi, Gaurav and Gaurav.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
And the voice is not echoing, Mamta?
No, not at all.
Not at all? Perfect.
At
Then
all.
we are good. All right. Okay, cool. Good to see you. How was your day so far?
It's great. Same here. Great to see you.
Very good.
So we'll start at 9394. We'll take some time. People, because they will be leaving another session and joining. So is that okay for you?
Yeah, 902, 902 max.
902. Okay, fine.
All right. And my screen is clearly visible, right? Is that
Yes.
the statement? All right,
Yes.
fantastic. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we have 10 people with us. We'll wait for another minute and then we'll get started. Okay, we have 20. Great. So I think we should get started. Gaurav?
Yes, all the
Okay. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for this session. The topic, as you all know, is a powerful tool for great Scrum Mastery. So let me introduce to our speaker. He is a certified Scrum trainer, enterprise agile coach, and founder of Universal Agile. He has 20 plus years of IT experience to be proud of and has worked with clients in transformation for retail, e-commerce, investment banking across Asia, UK, and US. He has helped large enterprise team transform into agile mindset, create innovative future, and feel empowered. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Gaurav Rehtogi. Gaurav, over to you.
Thank you, Mamta, for such a nice introduction. And you have an amazing voice, actually. You should try in radio, actually, I would say. All right,
Thank you
very
so
good.
much.
No, very stable voice, actually. Very good. Thank you, Mamta, for introducing. And hello, everybody who are listening. And first of all, I would like to thank Regional Scrum Gathering Hyderabad. I have a very, very old association with RSG Hyderabad. I think this is my third or fourth time when I have been participating in Regional Scrum Gathering. So thanks all the organizers, all the volunteers. You guys have been doing great job since yesterday. Thanks to Spread Agile, to our title sponsor Scrum Alliance, and our board sponsors Shift 314 and FactSet. Thank you, everybody. I do not take this opportunity very lightly because when you speak from a stage of Scrum Alliance, it's a very big, absolutely, it's an honor, but also it's a great responsibility. All right, to come forward and provide the best which we can do. So looking forward for it. So my today's presentation is not a presentation. Actually, it is more of an interaction which I'm going to do. Everything we are going to discuss is a lot of scenario based discussions we are going to do. So My topic is not very hi-fi or things like that. I'm going to keep it very simple. In fact, I'm going to keep it very stupid also, if I can say that word. Okay, because I personally believe with your stupidity is the most where you learn. That's what I personally believe in. So let's get into the topic. Very, very quick introduction, which Mamta already gave. It's right here. You can read it later on. Now, a few years back, before I get into the topic today, a few years back, I want to take you back. And I was, very fortunate and proud of that. I created a framework, you want to call, or not a framework, or a thought process about ABCD of agile transformation. Right, very basic stuff. A means analyze, B means believe, C means commit to what you want to change, and D means deliver. All right, I created this few years back and I gave a lot of talks. You can find some YouTube videos on that. I'm not going to get into that topic today, but I created a canvas where I talked about what all you need to analyze if you want to transform, your current ways of working, or you are already agile and still you want to transform further because it's a continuous journey. What you need to believe in, what you need to commit to, and what you need to deliver. So, as I said, I'll not get into that thought, into that particular talk, but something I wanted to connect. So, if you focus on this canvas, you need to focus on current problems. When you are applying, all right, Scrum on a day-to-day basis in your organization at a team level, all right, I hope there is no perfect team. And that's why you need a Scrum Master along with the team to work and bring more positive, productive, and effective change. So, current problems. What are these current problems look like? All right. So, I want to ask all of you, and you guys can really use your chat window, because as I said, it's going to be highly interactive. But unfortunately, we cannot speak too much to each other because of the uh, the conference setup. But I would request you to please continue typing in. So you see a page, right, like this, right, like current problems out there. If you see this page, it's rectangle right here, right? If I put this dot here, now what do you see on this page? What do you see on this page? Right, a dot, nothing else. All right, very good. All right, empty paper, very good. Empty paper, all right. Okay, less white space. All right, okay. All right, very good. Thank you very much. Now, my dear friends, our current problems are exactly like this dot. Sometimes we focus so much on this dot that we forget the white space, right? Our, our current problems are exactly like that. Sometimes it's not about the dot, it's about the white paper available to you, right? And my dear friends, that's where our Scrum Master is very good at. And that's where I would like you to take to some journey today to help you give some perspective. It's not a conclusion of everything, it's just a perspective which I want to give it to you. All right. So the question is that it's not about focusing on the dot, it's about focusing the whole canvas. That's the whole thought process. What do you need to focus on the whole thing? Right. I hope all of you know this picture. Now you might be thinking this, man, what this person is trying to do, which is our, Indian team coach. So actually, what does a coach does? All right. So the biggest thing is observation. A lot of times we only observe the dot. I want you to give you some perspective to start observing the whole canvas along with the dot. Don't miss the dot though, but I want you to also start thinking about the canvas. All right. So that's the whole perspective I'm going to talk about. A powerful tool for great Scrum Mastery called observation. All right. Now, Scrum Master is a coach. All of you know that. And if you don't know, I'm telling you right now. So what is observing? If you go by dictionary definitions, to watch carefully, especially with attention to details, or a behavior for the purpose of arriving to a judgment. That's what the bookish definition is. But in terms of coaching, if you really look, actually, it's a very apt statement made by Joanne Cruffy, and it says that coaching is about observing, which for me also includes listening and feeling. Listening and feeling. All right. Okay. So observing is a very key word here. Now, what does it mean really? All right. So in order to understand that, I'm not going to give you any gyan today. I'm not going to get into this observation, that kind of an observation. I'm not going to get into any models today. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is this. From here onwards, I have created about few stories or few scenarios. And I'm going to run through as many scenarios possible till the time we have. And we will interact with each other through this chat window. All right? Very good. So let's start with our story number one. So pay attention to these stories because in the end, I will discuss with you through some questions. Okay. So let's get started. So what is our story number one? Our story number one is that there is a Scrum team which is working on a crucial application for obviously a very important client, and they have some tough deadlines in front of them. All right. So this team is talking about their tough deadlines. All right. So that's scene number one. Now, this team starts with sprint one, let's say, or sprint N, whatever you want to call it. And in that sprint, they start with their sprint planning. Now, they are discussing, all right? Now, once they are doing their sprint planning, they are creating their why, what, how, everything, right? Okay, so they are preparing it. Now, during the sprint, once they have created this goal, this plan, all nice, great things, all right, their team is working, all right, and while the team is working, Kirti, which is one of the all right team member, calls the team or tells the team that, hey, I need to take an unplanned leave today due to a family emergency. All right, I hope a lot of you, this might sound very familiar to all of you. All right, this is a very day-to-day thing. So what does the team says? Okay, don't worry, we'll manage, no worries, please take care of your family and stuff like that, as a nice team. All right. Now, one day later, Kirti again calls the team and says, I'm sorry, I need to extend my leave for 2 more days. All right. So what happens now? What happens is the team shows empathy towards Kirti's leaves because there was a family emergency, and the team decided to work overtime to achieve the sprint goal. And during the sprint retrospective, Kirti is thanking everybody for filling in for her. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you would have been in this space or scenario. All right. Now, sprint one is over. The team starts with the sprint two again with sprint planning, sprint goal, and all that stuff, all the good stuff which we do. Now, during the sprint, when the team is working, another team member called John tells the team, guys, I'm sorry, but I need to take an unplanned leave for 2 days. And my maid is sick and I need to take care. So, and she is not going to come. And that means I'll need to take care of things at my home. All right. Now, what is the Scrum team? All right. Please go on mute. If you're doing your, okay. Gaurav, you need to go. Not me, I'm saying. All right. Okay. Thank you. Now, so the team is like, really? Okay, whatever. And the end of the sprint, the team couldn't meet the sprint goal. All right. Now, during retrospective, the team is thinking, wow, that was a very lame reason of John. We couldn't achieve the sprint goal because John didn't show up, he took a planned leave, and blah, blah, blah. All right. So, 2 sprints, 2 different people taking leave. Now, let's talk. As a Scrum Master, what is your observation about John and Kirti's unplanned leave? What would you say? What would you say? Give me some brief understanding on the chat window. Is that right, wrong? Is John right? Is Kirti right? What's your observation in this whole thought process? Give me some perspective on the chat window. As minimal as possible. Okay. All right. Both leave are required. We don't have much control on unplanned leaves. Remember, you are a Scrum Master. That is hampering the performance of your team. Right? Family is first. Maid is second. All right. I see that. Oh, very good. Didn't foresee it. Team should have considered these kind of things while planning. Both had their own reason. The term probably biased on some reason. All right. Well, so my dear friends and co-learners, this is not new in front of you. All right. These things. All right. So I'm seeing some more. The agile team need to expect unplanned leave. The team capacity should be adjusted accordingly. Very good. The agile team needs to be prepared for uncertainties and find out ways to find a solution. We have to trust people. Planning is for contingency by having multiple skills. As a scrum master, the sprint goals of velocity should have been adjusted. Very good, my dear friends. I see so many great perspectives here. All right. So this is where we need to understand. Are we focusing on the dot, or are we looking at the whole canvas along with the dot? Now, the dot is that people are taking unplanned leaves, and in some cases, people are willing to fill in for other people. In some cases, people are more looking at the dot, and they are only focused on the reason of the leave, right? You're very good. I see some amazing responses here. All right. So, my dear friends and co learners, this is where I would like to help you understand that largely, in my humble view, all right, this is my particular view. A lot of you don't have to agree with me. There are only two types of Scrum Masters in the world. That's what I believe in. One is called good Scrum Master, and one is called great Scrum Masters. All right. Now, both are good. All right. One is good and one is great. A good Scrum Masters, all right, try to, solve these problems, try to give solutions and things like that. Great Scrum Masters observe what is not the real obvious thing. All right. So, my dear friends, as some of you are already saying very nice things, that we cannot deny leave is a leave. All right. And how we can tag that Kirti's, reason for taking leave is far more important than John taking a leave. Right. You cannot be biased about that approach. So it's not about the issue of, people taking leave. It's about how this team responds to change. That's the bigger canvas, which a Scrum Master needs to focus on, right? It's not about that, you can only take, I have met some, Scrum Masters, they try to create a rule, oh, you cannot take more than one leave unplanned, and after that, there'll be 100 rupees fine and blah, blah, blah. It's not about that, right? It's not about that. It's about looking the whole canvas and helping the team to respond to change, right? And learning through what you see and observe. And that's all about empiricism, right? Empiricism is knowledge comes from experience, and you make decisions based on what you observe, right? And that's why the word observe for a Scrum Master is very, very important. So if a Scrum Master continues to see this pattern, all right, 2 sprints, 3 sprints, 4 sprints, 5 sprints, and it doesn't matter whether John takes leave, Kirti's take leave, or maybe, Sham take leaves, or maybe Mary take leaves, it does not matter. The question is that this team should learn to respond to change. So a great Scrum Master, a good Scrum Master might try to create some rules, regulations, and things like that, or try to manage the situation, request people to overwork and show team spirit. Nothing wrong about it, all right? That is very transactional. A great Scrum Master will help the team and say, guys, for 3 sprints, 4 sprints, do you see we have people taking unplanned leave? Now, what is in our control? Can we control the unplanned leaves? And that's what a coach does. Can we control? Probably not. So a great Scrum Master will ask a question, then what should we do? Right? What should we do? Most likely your team will give you some solutions. Like somebody said, you need to adjust the team capacity. That means if you see on an average for the last 4 sprints, there are always 2 unplanned leaves. It doesn't matter who took it. All right? Common sense says, and your empiricism says, always in your future sprints, assume this sprint also 2 people will take unplanned leaves. Right? Don't even assume that is available for a capacity, right? It doesn't matter who took it. So it's not about looking at the dot of the leaf. It's about looking at the whole canvas and helping people to figure out their own issues, right? Very good. Fantastic. All right. Now, let's go to story number 2. Enough of leaves now. All right. Now, the current Scrum team has been working together for quite well for quite some time, and now a new person, Sam, has joined the team. All right. So the team is welcoming Sam, and they start the sprint. All right, sprint one or N, whatever you want to call it. So during the sprint planning, the team is thinking, "Oh, let's assign some work." Sam is a little worried, and some people in the team says, "Don't worry, Sam. We will provide you some knowledge transfer, and don't worry about it." Now the sprint goes on, and when the sprint is about to end, Sam comes with a surprise and says, "Surprise! I am sorry, I'm not able to complete my work on time." What do you do? I'm sure a lot of you have seen that. All right. So the team doesn't say because it's a benefit of doubt. Sam is new. Now, what do? You go to sprint 2 and 3, and the team is quite hopeful for Sam to, perform a little better because the expectations are higher, and the stakes are also high. So people are hoping that Sam will perform good this time in sprint 2 and 3. But unfortunately, the same thing happens. "I'm sorry, I'm not able to complete my work on time." Now you are a Scrum Master. What happens? During the retrospective of the third sprint, now the team starts to feel a little itchy about it. And team starts to say that looks like we are not able to achieve our sprint goals because of Sam. That's a feeling the team has. My question to all of you is, what is your observation as a Scrum Master? What will you do? One-on-one feedback, all right? Okay, have a one-on-one. Why he cannot deliver? All right. Could not do it. All right. Okay, revisit the velocity and commit stories. Very good. RCA, root cause analysis, the favorite tool. All right, competency check and training requirement. So, my dear friends, great training plan. All right, forming, storming, norming. All right, all the good stuff. Provide necessary support to John in terms of emotional. All right. Now, I want to draw your attention on one point of view, my dear friends. As a Scrum Master, a lot of you are answering only about Sam. That means, in some way, shape, or form, a lot of you have also assumed Sam is the problem. A lot of you have already felt that. That's why a lot of you are giving suggestions only about Sam. My dear friends, I hope all of us understand Scrum is a team sport, not an individual sport. And this is where we need to understand the good and the great Scrum Master. A good Scrum Master might create some plans, adjust the velocity, give solutions, mentoring program, buddy program, start giving less priority work and things like that. Nothing wrong about it, my dear friends. But what is the difference then? What is the difference between a good and a great Scrum Master, as I told you earlier? A great Scrum Master doesn't give solutions, does enough observation to ask questions about the whole canvas so that people can figure out their own solutions. So a great Scrum Master might do something like this. I'm using the word might do something like this. A great Scrum Master in the retrospective will say, "Hello, everybody. I can see and sense there is a feeling in our team that our new friend Sam looks to be the problem. My first question to all of you is, I am putting this problem onto the table. Let's first agree or disagree, because feelings won't do here. Feelings won't do. Let's agree that we all think that Sam is our problem or our new friend is our problem, or it is not. It's just a feeling or a passing by feeling or an emotion." So a great Scrum Master first brings the problem on the table to accept or deny it. What if it's not even a problem? It's just an emotion, right? If the team says, "Yes, actually we think strongly that our new friend is our problem," now a great Scrum Master might do something like this and say, "All right, everybody, I have a suggestion for all of you. If our new friend is our problem, let's remove this friend from the team. But the question to all of you is, if we remove Sam from the team, will you remain cross-functional?" Now, I'm not going to define cross-functional. I'm assuming all of you know. If not, this is your homework, all right? Or my one good friend says it's your evening joy, all right? So figure it out. So will you remain cross-functional? Why? In a complex work, you need a cross-functional team where the whole team has all the required skills to solve the problem. You need to respect everybody in the problem, right? You cannot respect only one person. So, but before you remove Sam, the question is, will you remain cross-functional? Most likely the team will say, no, we will not remain cross-functional. That means you need Sam. So, my dear experienced people, all right, the people in the team, how did you become experienced? Did you become experienced by yourself? I hope not, right? I hope the people will say, no, 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 I was born genius. I hope not. So, what did you do in last 3 sprints to solve this problem and understand this problem? Are you only cribbing about the problem, or are you doing something about this problem? Just by giving Katie, do you think the problem can be solved? Have you guys taken out your time to sit down with Sam and understand his real problem statement? What is your action plan on the problem? What is your plan for the next 2 sprints to overcome this problem as a team? Because you guys need to understand this is a team game. You all win together or you all lose together. On the other hand, a scrum master, a great scrum master will talk to Sam also. It doesn't matter one-on-one or what, depending upon the context and things like that. But a scrum master will ask Sam and ask, hey, dear Sam, do you want to be considered as one of the weakest link of the team? All right. And I hope Sam says no. I hope so. Right? If Sam says no, that I don't want to be considered as the weakest link of the team, then the question to you is, Sam, what have you done up till now to understand the problem statement? Who are the people you are going and asking for help rather than waiting for their help? What is your action plan for next few sprints to overcome this problem and meet the team's expectation? So, my dear friends, the difference between a good and a great Scrum Master is a good Scrum Master focuses on the dot on solving that problem and does that observation. A great Scrum Master not only looks at the dot but also looks at the rest of the white canvas, a bigger picture, and help people realize that bigger picture. Okay, cool, fantastic. I am sorry I might not be able to read everything, but I see it's flooded with a lot of comments, and pardon me if I'm missing all of your comments to respond. Let's go to the third story. How about that? All right. Now, let's go to the third story. The company is setting up new Scrum teams, and they are excited to, they are excited to get new fresh talent from outside, and they are hiring Scrum masters, team members, developers, product owners, and you are a Scrum master existing with this company, and you have been given an additional responsibility to set up these new teams because this is one of your service to the organization. And all this new team has come, they are all excited, and you are just helping them, guiding them within the company to help that set up. All right. Now, when this team is getting set up, these new team members are joining, they are looking for some basic infrastructure like laptops, phones, headphones, and etc. Right? And while doing in that process, these people say, oh, you know what, mine is stuck in the approval by the senior manager, and unfortunately he's on leave, I can't move forward. Somebody says, why the heck I need to raise a ticket to get a basic stuff like headphone? Don't you know that headphone is needed on a day-to-day basis? And somebody says, oh, procurement is telling me we are waiting from the vendor and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is going on. Now, you are the Scrum Master. You're supposed to help them set up. That means you need to also help them remove their impediments, if I can say. Right? That's also your service to the organization. So my question to you is, these people reach out to you help. What, as a Scrum Master, is your observation on teams failing on the company process? What's your observation? What will you do? Type in. Will you go to the leaders and tell them what the heck you guys are doing? Will you just say, hey, don't you know in every company it works like this? What will you do? What will you do? Create a smooth onboarding process. But the question is, do you have those so-called rights or position in your company to sort this out overnight. All right, all right. The leaders were not coached and they need to be coached to change the mindset. Very good. Explain complete processes earlier so that people are less worried and they know after 1 month only you will get the headphone. All right, very good. Well, assess the urgency and request leadership to help. Expedite the process. Can you give an exception? These kind of things. Change management is needed. All right, feedback from ground, wrong term. My dear friends and co-learners, I'm going to share. Thank you, everybody, for asking a powerful question. How do you think we can manage this issue? All right, very good. Amazing. All right, very good. Point of views. My dear friends and co-learners, I'll give you a real story. All right, a real story which happened with me. All right, on the similar scenario, and that's why I had to put it here. Few years back, I used to work for a company and I was an agile coach over there. And there were multiple scrum masters working with multiple teams. And that team was also in a position of or in a situation of hiring new people because they were ramping up and things like that. Now, in that organization as a coach, what I had done was that created a platform that every 6, 8 weeks or 10 weeks, these existing scrum masters can have a dialogue with the leadership, right? Leadership, where these people, these scrum masters can come and talk about the organization issues or processes which are hampering on a day-to-day basis for these teams to do scrum or become more agile. All right. So my role was only to set up this platform. And there I used to go there as an observer. That's it. Uh, Now, these Scrum Masters used to come there, and for one of the Scrum Masters, same situation was happening. The new people were coming, and just to get a headphone, it was taking 4 weeks, 6 weeks. So, some of you said to ask some powerful questions. So, I'm going to tell you about this. This amazing Scrum Master, what she did was in this meeting, the head of technology is sitting, head of facilities is sitting, the senior directors are sitting, and this Scrum Master comes and says in that meeting that, hey, in my humble view, we should remove all this approval process to get a headphone or a laptop. We should just remove this process. Now, my question to all of you is, what do you think the management will answer with your experience? All of you are very experienced people. What do you think people will answer to this? If you say, remove all this approval process, what do you think? No, no, no. That's what is going to be the answer. And some people will go one further extent. For ages, we have been doing it. How come you're expecting us not to do it? No one is going to listen, right? Very good, my dear friends. That means it needs courage from this great Scrum Master to say this line. The answer was no. We have been doing it for years. And how will we come to know this accounting purpose and all that stuff? So you know what this great Scrum Master did? This great Scrum Master in front of all these leadership said, do you guys believe in data? Now, organizations believe in data, right? All of you believe in data, right? In companies. So everybody says, yeah, we believe in data. So, dear head of facility, can you get a data or a report pulled out that in last 2 years, how many headset requests have been rejected? What do you guys think with your experience? How many number of rows will be there in that report? How many number of rows in that report rejected for headset? Zero. Zero. I didn't tell you the company name. I didn't tell you anything. The answer was zero, my dear friends. Now, this great Scrum Master says, okay, the answer is zero. Now I am a little confused. If you don't reject for last 2 years, then why do you need an approval? You see, this is called a powerful question. This is called observing the whole canvas, not the dot. It's not about the headset, my dear friends. Now, when this great Scrum Master asked this question, a lot of people were taken aback, right? You need to understand that. Right? Now the people had no answer. So this great Scrum Master says, if you don't, reject, then why are you asking for approval? So somebody says for accounting purpose. So the bottom line is accounting, right? Approval is not important. So I give you a suggestion. Please speed up this process by removing this approval process and see if you want to agree with mine. And instead of getting an approval process, after 3 months, 6 months, whatever you decide, create an exception report instead of approval. An exception report that somebody in last 3 months who have asked for 2 laptops, 2 headsets, whatever the count you want, decide your time, right? And the management listen to that perspective. So, my dear friends, it's about what you ask is what you get, right? So, my dear friends and co-learners, that's called a larger observation. Okay. All right, let's go to our third scenario, or third or fourth, maybe. I don't remember. I've lost the count now. Now, let's say the Scrum team is working together and the product owner is very nice, explains all the requirements to the developers, also a lot of document for easy reference, very nice chap. And during the sprint planning, this product owner is there explaining all the developers and asking developers on their opinion, not forcing them to take this more work. Very nice product owner, right? Whatever estimates they give, no questions asked. And the team is very happy that, okay, they have such a great product owner. Now, this planning is done and people start with the work, all right? And, the team is thanking, all right, that for the inputs, and product owner says, okay, now I've told you, you self-manage, you guys work together and let's go. I've given you whatever you needed. Now, once the planning is over, the team starts working on a day-to-day basis, the list and all that stuff, and the D-Day comes of sprint review, and they see their product owner and other stakeholders during the sprint review. Now, my dear friends and co-learners, while during the sprint review, they start to find a lot of defects here. And the stakeholders say, please focus on quality. This is not good. And the product owner is thinking in their mind that I'll ask my developers to improve quality. Now, after sprint review, the retrospective, the product owner very politely, very nice person, as I told you, asked the developers to think on how to improve the quality. All right. Now, sprint 1 is over. Go to the sprint 2, the same thing. Product owner very nice, saying, giving all the answers, allowing them to decide how much work, not pushing anything. And the team is very happy and they start with new. And the D-Day comes again after doing the work in sprint review, and again the same issue, right? A lot of defects. And now this time the product owner is not really happy. So he or she goes to the retrospective and says, guys, this is unbelievable. Is there a capability issue here? I have not been pushing you guys. You are giving me the estimates. I'm not even questioning those estimates. And still you are not able to do it, right? Now I am a little worried and concerned about your capability issues. And now the team looks clueless, right? My question to all of you is, as a Scrum Master, what is your observation? What's your observation in this whole scenario? What's going on here? What will you do? Give me something. All right, DOD is not good. Okay, DOD is not good. Looks like, all right, very good. DOD is not good. What else? Some of you don't know DOD. The definition of done is the full form. We have to look at the team expertise. Yeah, there could be a capability issue. Very good. Metric and measurement should be there. Some measurement should be there. Very good. All right, nobody can run away like this. My dear friends, very good. See, that's the dot. That's the dot. That's what I said. Looking at the dot, yeah, looks like the capability is an issue. DOD is not right, all right? Machine automation testing, all right? So my dear friends, that's the dot. And this is what a good Scrum Master does. A great Scrum Master looks at the whole canvas. What's the whole canvas, my dear friends, all right? My dear friends, we need to understand that. A product owner, if you see them in sprint planning and then you directly see them in sprint review, the question is, where is your product owner throughout the sprint? What is he or she doing? Why it is a surprise for a product owner on the quality? My question to all of you is, if you are a product owner and your stakeholders are going to come into sprint review and they find a defect, should you blame the developers or should you blame yourself? is the question you need to ask yourself as a product owner. When the game is over, who goes the press conference when the team specially loses the game? Captain or any team member? What have you seen? What have you seen? Who goes? When especially the team loses the game, who goes for the press conference? What have you seen? The captain. Now, who is the captain here? Product owner is the captain leading the team, telling what we need to achieve. We want the World Cup. We want the World Cup, right? So, my dear friends, the question is, whom are you blaming on that? The question is, why it is a surprise for you on the sprint review? What were you doing throughout the sprint? Were you not playing the game? Were you outside the playground? Were you sitting on the chair and telling your team members, hey, go and get World Cup for me? Is that what you're doing? So, my dear friends, it's not about the obvious. It's about the bigger canvas. That is where your Scrum Master is observing, right? It's all about that. I'm not saying product owner is the only culprit here. Maybe there might be really a capability issue. Please don't get me wrong, right? But if you lose an opportunity of another possibility of improvement and you become biased on this, that this is the only problem, you will never solve the real problem. You will only solve the wrong problem. Or, I mean, you will solve something which was never a problem, all right? So, my dear friends and co-learners, right? Some of you are saying, product owner should be part of the daily Scrum. But as per Scrum, even product owner is not mandatory. And this is another misconception in the corporate world. Out of 8 hours, daily Scrum is 15 minutes. I am telling you, what are you doing as a product owner 7 hours, 45 minutes? What are you doing? Why are you focused and behind that 15 minutes? What are you doing for the rest of the time, my dear friends? Okay. So a Scrum Master is looking at the bigger canvas, not only the dot, the canvas with the dot. That's what you need to remember. All right. Next story. All right. The Scrum team is working well and using burn down chart to track progress. All right. A lot of you love that. All right. So my dear friends and co-learners, these are the two real burn down charts of a team. Look at the chart number 1 here. I hope my mouse is working. All right. So let's say the team has taken 47 user story points or whatever you call it, work item, whatever. All right. On day 1 or a little after day 1, they completed some, then 2, then 3, and they are ahead. I hope this green line tells you they are ahead. And all of a sudden, they fail. They couldn't complete the work. Same thing you see on sprint 2. Ahead, and all of a sudden they fail. Now, my question to you is, as a Scrum Master, what is your observation? What is the issue here? What is your observation here? Tell me. All right. Stories can be on hold, no daily checks. All right. Some dependency. All right. Okay. Environment issues, last time review, less time for QA. Team is over planning and underachieving. Requirements may not be clear. My dear friends, there could be many things. I'm agreeing to all of you. But this is what the difference between a good and a great Scrum Master is. All right. My dear friends, look at it. Look at it. Throughout the sprint, they are ahead till the last day. They are ahead. That means we cannot say that they are not checking their progress daily. They have been quite well. They have been doing well. They are ahead. But all of a sudden they fail. All of a sudden they fail. All right. Same here also. Everything is going great. All of a sudden they fail. And my dear friends, that's why not only look at the dot, but look at the whole canvas. All right. A great Scrum Master can observe things which not normal eyes can observe. All right. Look at this. Look at this chart here. Do you see the height of this? This is roughly about 13 height. This is also roughly about 13 height. That means what is happening here? What potentially could be happening? I'm not saying what you guys are saying is wrong. Please don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to tell you how a Scrum Master should holistically look at the height of it. This is 13. All right. What does that also tells you? This team is fine. Maybe requirements is not an issue. They were performing, but They are taking work which is of bigger size at the end of the sprint. Now, bigger items will have more unknowns, or smaller item will have more unknowns? Bigger item will have more unknowns. So when they are taking too many bigger items, it is bound to happen that you may be caught by surprises towards the end of your sprint. Maybe capability is not an issue with this team. And now, since they are not able to complete, a good team also is under pressure now. So what will happen in the third sprint? The confidence has gone low of everybody else other than this team. And this team is also struggling. And probably actually there is no major issue. The only issue is if they start taking smaller items towards the end of the sprint, things might change for this team. Right? Now, some of you might say, oh, yeah, you know what? I would have better requirements. We need to understand. We are dealing with complex world, complex problems. The bigger the item, the more unknowns. You cannot figure out everything. It's just a perspective. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is the only option to look for. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, you need to help the team look beyond what they can look. All right? Cool. Fantastic. All right. So, my dear friends, I have one more scenario. All right. So, how much time do we have? We have 45 minutes. Let's do that last scenario. And then probably I'll open it up for your questions. Okay. So, let's see. A Scrum team is working very collaboratively in a couple of sprints. Product owner, who is Mahesh, and the stakeholders do, they all come to the sprint review, and Mahesh is a very quite open to feedback from stakeholders and often take the requirements in the product backlog during the sprint review, and doesn't forces the team to take it in between, which is a very nice sign. Doesn't introduce change in between. After 2 sprints, in the third sprint, the team is planning the sprint, and Mahesh, what he does is gets one of the requirement from the previous sprint review and put it at the top of the backlog, right? Now the team does some estimation. Mahesh answers all the questions and takes some work and goes towards the planning, and they are not able to complete the work. And during retrospective, Mahesh suggests that developers need to give better estimates. That's okay. Point taken. They go to sprint 4. Again, Mahesh is not somebody who's introducing change in between the sprint, very politely adding new stuff at the top of the backlog. Right? Again, the same thing happens. The team is given a chance to estimate, but team is again not able to achieve the goal. Now, Mahesh is frustrated with the team that why they are not able to achieve their velocity or their goal, their commitment, and things like that. So, what's your point of view? What is your observation as a Scrum Master on this? Higher priority items must be on the top. Makes sense. Very good. What else? Okay. All right. What else could be a point of view here? Okay. Overcommitment. Yeah, that could be one thing. That means they are not able to estimate well. All right. Okay. Very good. All right, the new items are added at the top, possibly are not meeting the definition of ready and hence leading to poor estimates. Very good. Assignments, backlog grooming is ongoing, should involve team and can happen within the sprints. Very good point of view. Team have no idea new items because they have not done it before. Awesome. Need better estimation. Lower environment stability. Awesome. I see some great answers here. Very good observation, my dear friends. See, my dear friends, I'll tell you something with my experience. I go to a lot of companies and a lot of senior leaders comes to me and tell, Gaurav, if you can teach my team how to do better estimation, there'll be a great deal for me. Can you teach them? And I tell them, no, I cannot teach your team how to do better estimation. In my humble opinion, there is nothing called as better estimation. There is something called as better understanding the work. And that's what I believe. All right. So, my dear friends, in my humble view, it's a myth that you can do better estimation. Actually, if you better understand, estimation is easy for you. So, it's not about the estimation beyond a point. Please don't get me wrong. Do you need some skills for that? Yes, you do. All right. But beyond a point, you need to understand the work to be able to give that. Now, in this scenario, somebody very nicely pointed out that something which is getting added on the top continuously every sprint. We just came in the in the sprint review. Now, this is not something which has been refined with the team. This has not been appraised to the team. If you take that item in the sprint, will the predictability go up or go down? The chances are the predictability will go down because you are putting on the top something which was just discovered. All right? Chances are very, very high. So, my dear friends, if you look from a perspective of a product owner is not wrong. Product owner can change the backlog anytime. So product owner is saying that I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm allowed to add items anytime. But my dear friends, just because you can add anytime doesn't mean people who are supposed to do can do it anytime. Right? So we need to understand this. Right? I hope a lot of you would have heard this statement. Right? Great power comes with great responsibility. I hope all of you have heard. Which movie it came from? Anybody knows? All right. Okay. Let me see if somebody writes that. Okay. Which movie? Did you hear that? Spider-Man. Awesome. Spider-Man. Now, my dear friends and co-learners, I want to tell you a similar statement. All right. With a perspective. Great powers comes with great responsibility. Same way. Great flexibility in life comes with great problems. All right. Great flexibility comes with great problems. That means product owner is right. That's the flexibility to the product owner to add any time. But I can add any time doesn't mean the people who are going to do it can do it anytime. That could be a problem statement, right? You need to figure out a way, a better way of doing it, right? So my dear friends, it's not about solving all the problem. Maybe as a Scrum Master, you cannot solve all the problem. I'm not trying to give you any perfect solutions here. If you really see all these scenarios, there is no perfect solution, all right? What I'm just trying to say is we always need to observe by going one step behind, so that you can look at the whole canvas, not only to the dot. That's my only message in this whole session I have been trying to do, right? Certain things are very, very obvious. Don't think that that's the only way to look at it. There might be always one more way to observe about it, right? So my dear friends and co-learners, thanks for this opportunity. I would like to thank you. All right. This is how you can reach out to me. All right. And as an attendee, what is your observation about this session? There is a poll. Please go ahead and give that. Okay. So with this, I will put it back to Mamta. And if people have questions, whatever time we have, I'll be happy to address to that. Thanks for listening. And I hope I was able to create some value for all of you.
Thank you, Gaurav. It's a great session, and comments are coming in. You can read them out. And as far as questions are concerned, I think you were at the number one position in asking the questions, but thankfully you answered them all. Okay, and I think Bhavna is at number two. She has two questions.
Okay. All right.
So the question she wants to ask is that doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, how do we eradicate this?
You stop observing the same people doing the same mistake. That's what a great Scrum Master will do. All right. See, again, we need to understand. If people have this behavior that they have been doing the same thing and again and expecting different results, you need to be honest to them. If you are a good Scrum Master, you can be nice to them and things like that. But if you are a great Scrum Master, you will be honest to them. You'll be honest to them. All right. I will simply ask if people are expecting different results, that are you willing to change? I'll ask point blank on that. See, sometimes it's a lot of people get confused that, hey, as a great Scrum Master, I need to be polite. I need to be, yeah, obviously you need to be polite. You need to be nice in a corporate environment, but not for irrational thinking, right? You are there as a change agent, right? You need to remember that. Now, change agent doesn't mean you can make everybody happy. I personally believe in that. If I'm a change agent, I'm going to upset some people along the way. Now, the only thing you need to know is, and that's my point of view, my dear friends, okay? A lot of people may differ from my point of view because a lot of people think Scrum Master is a servant lead. Not think, actually a Scrum Master is a servant leader. A servant leader doesn't mean you can also, continue seeing your team failing. Because then it is also appropriate for you. You are also seeing again and again and you're not doing anything about it. All right, so you need to do something about it. All right, people are also doing the same mistake. You are also watching that same mistake. You need to do something about it. All right, so what you need to do is you need to ask them, do you really want to change? And if you don't want to change, then from here onwards we will stop cribbing about this problem. Either we need to be this side of the fence or we need to be this side of the fence. We cannot sit on the same fence. That's it. That's what I would do if I were you. That's my point of view. Thank you. What else, Mamta? You're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a great answer. Second question from Bhavna is that how do we get out of the cognitive bias?
That's a very good question, and it's a very big question. All right. And that's what I think this whole talk is all about today. I was doing. Actually, the whole talk, I wanted to give you a perspective. Cognitive bias is only looking at that dot. So the one thing I do to myself is, all right, in fact, I would say two things rather. I always do. And one thing was taught by my elders since childhood, especially my parents. And one thing I have learned over a period of time being in this community with all of you. My mom always used to say, Gaurav, and a lot of you would have heard this, put yourself in the shoes of others. So when you are a Scrum Master, you need to put in yourself in the shoes of a developer number one, developer number two, product owner, developer number three. You need to put from everybody's perspective. All right. That gives you, other than the dot, the larger picture. The second thing I ask myself is, for this problem, I can think of 5 things. What is the 6th thing which I cannot think right now? Always one more thing. Always one more than what I can think of. One more. Always. All right. So that's what I do. That's a very short answer I can give you on this.
Okay. Vishnu has this question that how much transparency is too much?
Very good. I have a very funny answer. I don't know if people will take it or not. Okay. So it depends. Where are you? If I go to my hometown, all right, and if I am topless, it is okay in that society, all right? Okay. But if I come to a sophisticated place, all right, I need to wear something. All right. So it depends. See, what is your culture, my dear friends? What is your culture? You need to decide. It's not about how much transparency. It is about the transparency which is required to improve one step further. That's the right question or the right way to think. So I wouldn't say that it's not about how much transparency. I would say that if I do a little bit more transparent, can I become better as a team? Can we become better as a team rather than I? All right? Can we become better as a team? Now, some cultures, you have to go step by step. Some culture are very open already. And so when I say culture, I'm talking about your company culture or your team culture. For example, some companies I have worked, if I talk specific to Scrum, I have seen some teams, they do not even want to show their sprint backlog to anybody else, right? Some of them, they keep it open to their stakeholders also. So it depends. And it depends upon the maturity of the people the people who are conceiving, looking at that information. So I would say it's not about how much transparency, how much your given environment is capable of absorbing. I would go with that. That's my thought process on this.
Thanks, Gaurav. One more question we have is from Murli. That as a Scrum Master, how can I measure the health of a Scrum team on a regular basis? Is there any specific parameters, variables, or aspects to be considered for validating the health for a Scrum team?
Okay. So it's a very large question. Actually, you can find a lot of work done by a lot of practitioners on scrumalliance.org. Actually, in a couple of minutes. I might not be able to give you a full perspective on this, but I would sincerely request you go to scrumalliance.org. There are many, many articles written on this. Actually, you can get a lot more detail with very specifics and things like that. But yeah, if you talk about mindset perspective from me, I would like to talk more around the mindset. So see, again, this is again a perspective. As a Scrum Master, my question to you is, should I be more worried about the performance of the team, or should I be worried about, am I providing the right environment to the team? See, we need to understand Scrum Master as a gardener. A Scrum Master is a gardener. If a Scrum Master sows a seed inside the ground, and if every day Scrum Master digs and see, oh, is the tree coming? Is the tree coming? Is the tree coming? When will the tree come? Never. You are the person who is killing the tree now. All right. So more than that, I would say, I would check my own self. Am I doing the right thing to provide the environment as a gardener to the seed? Because the seed will eventually grow itself. Nobody can stop the seed to grow. If as a gardener, I provide the right environment to the seed. So again, it's a perspective, my dear friends. A lot of people are looking for tracking the seed growth. I am saying, are you the right Scrum Master who is providing the right environment to the team? Team will grow, nobody can stop it. That's my perspective on this. Cool.
Okay. There is just one last question, Kevin. I think we are we have reached to the point, but this question is very a very powerful question and very useful as well. It's from Tafnita, that if PO doesn't give requirements clearly and he's not interested to take accountability of grooming session as well, and it keeps on happening multiple times, what should we do as SM?
All right. I will look for another job. All right. Okay. See, my dear friends, I mean, just on a lighter note, I look like Italian, but I'm from India. Just in case if anybody is struggling from that. Okay. So I'm from North India specifically, and we have a saying in Hindi. I will convert it in English also. Right. यदि कोई सो रहा है तो आप उसको जगा नहीं सकते. I mean, कोई सो रहा है तो आप उसको जगा सकते हो, but कोई सोने का नाटक कर रहा है तो आप उसको नहीं जगा सकते. What that means in English is, if somebody is acting to sleep, you cannot wake them up. All right. But if somebody is sleeping, you can wake them up. So you are already saying in your question, you are already saying the product owner is not willing to take the accountability. My dear friends, what do you do now as a Scrum Master? As a Scrum Master, my first point of view would be, is my team worried about it? Is my team in the retrospective talking about it? Because first I want the team to recognize this problem rather than me telling the problem. You go to a doctor when you find some symptoms in your body. Doctor doesn't come and say, show me your body. All right. So is the team even worried about this? Now, I would, as a great Scrum Master, look for a sprint or at least or a two, whether the team is talking about it. And if the team is talking about it, and then also a product owner is showing a bossy attitude, all right? Now, probably, I cannot really, as I said, if somebody is acting to sleep, I cannot do. Now it is more of an organization issue, all right? It is more of an escalation issue, right? Rather than I try to solve it. A Scrum Master is not equal to God. Scrum Master cannot solve all your problems. You need to understand that. Okay. Scrum Master can also have an escalation metrics in your company. Why not? Absolutely. Right. Give the matter to the right people in the right hand who can solve this problem. Right. But if the team raises this question and product owner recognizes the fault, they will change. But if the team is not saying it for a couple of times, that means the team is also ignorant on this problem, and you are a coach, you are observing that because of this there are serious problems, all right? Then probably you need to bring it in the retrospective. Lot of times Scrum Masters are acting like good Scrum Masters. They think they know the problem and they know the solution, and they post the solution on the team. I would say move towards right. Identify the problem, Make people, you identify the problem, and if they are not speaking, help them to identify the problem and ask them for the solutions. Then they will lead to it. Ask the product owner, are you happy with the outcome? Do you think who is the problem maker here? Are you happy with this team is not able to do all the things and there are defects and quality issues, right? What do you think can be done in order to get this quality issues? Now, they may not call it grooming. They might call, hey, let me spend 1 hour in answering their question. Bingo, you got your point. That's it. It's not about the word, it's about the act, right? All right. I hope that helps. All right.
Yeah, being the last session, we have taken full advantage of it. We are top of the hour. And
Great.
you have answered all the questions, knocked
Thank
them
you.
all. Thank you so much. It's amazing session. You would like to add any words? Couple of last remarkable
I would
words.
just say thank you very much. You guys have been very, very participative. Thank you. Uh, I hope I was able to create some value. All right. See you all once again. Thanks to Regional Scrum Gathering Hyderabad 2022 for giving me this amazing opportunity. And Mamta, you have been great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you being the moderator. Thank you. Thank you, audience. Everybody, good job.
Bye, everyone.